Warning.
You are now tuned in to 7 Mile Radio. 7 Mile Radio.
What up, though? What up, though? What up, though? Happy Wednesday, happy hump day. Y'all already know the vibe. Excuse My Truth podcast with Mac and Macho.
Hey.
What up, Mac?
What up, though?
How are you?
Lovely. How are you?
I ain't never complaining, man. There's no opportunity to when you know shit could be worse. You feel me? Mark D, what's up, my baby?
Same old shit, them toilet, you know me, grinding my dog, you know what I'm saying, keeping it moving, gearing up for this podathon, this launch party for, you know what I'm saying, the new headquarters and all of that type of shit, so just putting that together, you know,
nice, man.
Busy.
Congratulations, my boy.
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
Mac, what's up with you?
You seen his twin on Facebook?
His twin?
Dog, if I ain't never seen an infant look like a motherfucker right now, I have today.
Oh, you a father now?
Yeah, you ain't know I had another son?
You missing shit, man.
Yeah, I'm missing shit.
That little
man.
nigga look just like him. Got his eyeballs, his nostrils, his lips.
How old is your little man?
Everything.
1 month, born last month.
Nice. Congratulations,
Boy,
my
he
boy.
junior.
He look just
Dang, that's what's
like
up.
nigga.
Bible say be fruitful and multiply.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? Populate the earth. What's up, Denise? How are you doing? What's up, people?
We got 10 people chiming in already. We appreciate
Happy
y'all.
Wednesday, everybody.
Appreciate y'all.
Okay, y'all. Listen, man, we ain't gonna even waste no time with it, right? I was singing on my live, and I said, because y'all know I'm a Winans, right? So y'all know it's
shit.
definitely in the motherfucking DNA. But I said, break up to make up. That's all we do
Tell it first.
until it's for good. Until it's for good. And then that individual tends to switch up how they deal with the kids. You know what I mean? And even in some instances, even stop rocking with the kids. You know what I mean? And this, for all intents purposes, came just from a conversation that I was having with a friend. And she was just explaining that, like, ever since she kind of, like, moved on from the situation, the husband, like, really has drastically changed up how he deal with the kids. You know what I mean? And it was really when he, I guess, really found out that it was done. You know what I mean? Like, in, you know, so as they're, I guess, dealing with the reality of the divorce, you know what I mean? Like, dog just kind of like switched up on the kids, you know what I mean? So I'm like, wow, that's different, you know what I mean? For me, you know what I mean? But I know I have a couple of homeboys who are like single dads, you know what I mean? Who the mom don't even see the kid, you know what I mean? Like, at all, you know what I mean? Like, and that's like some different sad type of shit, you know what I mean? For a person to feel like, because, like, you know, and the topic of the podcast is, if I can't have you, the kids can't have me. You understand what I'm saying? So that's different, and to me, just some real clown shit.
I think it's some rather immature shit, because the bottom line is those are two very different relationships, and you were intentional about developing an independent relationship and not one that is just connected to the relationship you have with the parent. So if you go that far to establish that relationship, then you're very selfish in the end by not at least having several conversations with that child as to why that's going to end. Because you think you're hurting the parent. You think you're protecting yourself. But at the end of the day, you're harming that child and harming their concept of relationship, their concept of sustaining relationships.
And in what context are you using that example in?
I'm just saying, in all of them.
Biological parents, or like coming into a relationship?
It doesn't even have to be biological, but
Okay.
if you come into a relationship with someone who has children that are not yours, and you have intention on being with that parent, then you're intentional about developing a relationship with those children. So the principle can apply whether they're married and biological or they're together and commingling. The same principle can apply because what you're doing is establishing a relationship with the child. Not unless you're doing it just to impress the mother.
Right.
You understand what I'm
I
saying?
do.
Or the father.
Right.
You know,
Right.
you understand what I'm saying? Because it's a lot of people that do that. They want it. They get to you through your children. You understand what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
then when it don't work, then it's fuck them kids.
And whereas if I feel like, because I was in a situationship and she had like 3 kids, you understand, and like the youngest of the 3, her dad wasn't like active meaning around, right? And when we started like vibing, she was like maybe 8 or 9 months. You know what I mean? And we was like vibing, or you know what I mean, had a situationship for about 1.5 years, almost 2 years. You know what I mean? And I was like over there like damn near every day. You know what I mean? So developed a real close relationship with the kid. You know what I mean? The family fucked with me heavy because our families fucked with each other heavy though. You know what I mean? Just overall. But when it was time to move on, it was definitely like super hard. But it wasn't more or less for me like, I ain't fucking with you, so I want to fuck with the kid. It was like, fuck you, like I'm still fucking with the kid. You know what I mean? Like, I guess would you like the opposite of what the topic is or whatever. But I'm just talking to the extent of how, like, I dealt, like I had to accept her and the child. You know what I mean? Well, all 3 of the kids. You know what I mean? It just so happened.
Doesn't it matter the age of the child?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I think that plays a significant role. But like when you're talking about biological, you know what I mean? Like again, when I walked away from the situation, there's 3 kids involved. You know what I mean? And at this point, when I knew it was done, the kids are 15, 14, and 10. You know what I mean? And I was just intentional with, you know what I mean? Like if I took the kids with me, you know what I mean? But like the mom still fucked with the kids though. You know what I mean? Like it may not have been what I like, you know what I mean, thought it should have been, but like, you know, she fucked with her kids, you know what I mean? But there were, you know what I mean, I guess spurts where in walking away from that, that the kids definitely, I think, felt a sense of abandonment, right? Because the mom moved out of state. You know what I mean? And at that point, I was like a single father raising 3 kids. You know what I mean? So like even in her definition of fucking with the kids, I just think the kids still had certain expectations because they was already being raised in a 2-parent household.
Right. She went from full-time to part-time.
Right.
And kids don't understand that unless there's conversations that lead up to that transition.
Yeah, and I don't think those conversations were
you
like...
can't do that abruptly and expect them to understand
Right.
or be able to process that. You know what I'm saying? That's why, you know, communication, that's what we don't do, or a lot of us don't do in this community, is have those conversations. We just like, it's over, you ain't never gonna see him again, and they're left to deal with this set of emotions that produce fear of abandonment.
Yeah, and if I can't have you, the kids can't have me. Like, again, a lot of people deal with that. Like, I know people that personally deal with that, where the other parent don't fuck with the kids at all. Like, dead ass don't fuck with the kid at all. Like, I got, you know what I mean? A friend, we all went to school together, you know what I mean? And like don't fuck with the kid at all. You know what I mean? And I'm the type of person, like, I ain't gonna even play with you. If you don't fuck with your kid, like, I don't fuck with you.
Yeah.
Like, and that's just me. You know what I mean? Like,
so let me ask you a question, Macho. Do you think under any circumstance that there should be a valid reason why a parent does not fuck with their children?
No, I don't think there's a
after the dissolve of the relationship. Do you think there's any situation or circumstances that will require a parent not to be able to fuck with their kids?
I personally don't think so, because again, the child didn't ask to be here. You know what I mean? Like, two consenting adults in that situation. Hopefully it was that, you know what I mean, and not a forcible. But ideally, again, two consenting adults laid down, had a child brought into this world.
Right.
So the child don't ask to be here. So in that regards, again, I'm very intentional with my approach to parenting. So I think there's no scenario you can paint where you shouldn't fuck with your kids. Like, you know what I mean?
Okay, but the other part of the question was, what about situations where it's best that that parent don't fuck with the kids?
Again,
Because either they're abusive, unhealthy. Because there are exceptions to every rule, right?
you'll get the help you need and then get back active if that's what
But
it
there's
is.
conditions for that. You understand what I'm saying? But if if abusive relationship dissolves, right, and the mother deems it best that the other parent is not in the child's life, under certain circumstances, I would think that's appropriate. If that person has
That's
demonstrated
tough, 'cause,
unhealthy
I mean-
behavior toward not only the mother of those children, but even those children.
Yeah, that's tough. Because
I don't think parental rights go without exception.
I mean, I wouldn't say it goes without exception. However, if now we talking like is the law involved?
I would hope so if there's abuse involved.
Yeah, because at that point you gonna have to, you know what I mean. You have to get some paperwork to tell.
Yeah.
And
But
again,
the
yes,
question, the
yes,
answer to the question is there
yes.
are certain circumstances
there would be
where it's
some
best
contributing factors.
that one of those parents are not involved after the dissolution of the situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I think even in that regards, like if I can't have you, the kids can't have me. Like if I'm beating your ass and again physically abusing you and putting you in danger and potentially putting the kids in danger, like, you know what I mean, that's definitely some sick criminal shit, and again that shit needs to be dealt with accordingly. You know what I mean? Like I'm just at an age in life where, you know what I mean, like I believe in using resources, you know what I'm saying, like and allowing the law to handle situations, because like being a you know, licensed, you know, again, like I don't want to have to even deal with the trauma of defending myself to have to lay you down, you know what I mean? So again, just move on, you know what I mean? But again, you see a lot of situations where like people like
Voluntarily make those decisions.
yeah, and because people have a hard time moving on, you know what I mean, and dealing with seeing another person happy, you know what I mean? So because they're happy and they moved on, now like fuck it, I'm gonna try to make it as miserable as I can. So you know what I mean, one way of doing that, like again from a control standpoint, is a person try to control like how you moving, and if I can control the kids, and again age comes back into play too, right?
Yeah,
because if you got
toddlers,
yeah, you know what I mean,
you know, they don't have a cell phone and they can't communicate with you directly,
right? Or kids that are just dependent of, right? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like where's different, even in my situation, like my kids were 15, 14, and 10, so still very dependent, very active in sports, you know what I mean? But I controlled that narrative just because like I, you know, let my nuts drop and bossed up and grabbed, you know, the 3 kids and got the fuck on, you know what I mean? And you know, but whereas if in that situation per se where my friend was dealing with it with her husband, like dog don't fuck with the kids like at all, you know what I mean? And they're at the age where again like they're still dependent of mom and dad, you know what I mean? So now the kids are getting the stain of, you know what I'm saying, like.
but I
They
think
getting the
it
short end of the
matters.
stick and shit.
I think it matters how the two adults in the situation handle the dissolve, right? If you handle it dysfunctionally, it's going to vicariously negatively impact those children.
Facts. A lot of sleepless nights
If
coming.
y'all as adults, or we as adults, because I'll include myself, I done ended some shit very dysfunctionally before. If we handle things in such a way that we just can't even communicate, you know what I'm saying? Like we can't even talk, we can't, or even coordinate anything that pertains to the children. It's the way that you dissolve something that either creates a sense of sustained normalcy for children or disruption in their normalcy.
And y'all can call in at any time, man. Like call in, chime in. You don't have to give your name or whatever if you've ever experienced like you didn't like been in a situation where like you know, baby daddy or husband or fiance, whoever, you know, moved on to somebody you just dated, and now all of a sudden the kids are getting the wrath of your choice to move on from the toxic relationship.
And then what is the impact that has on the children? Because everybody's talking about how that affects the other parent that cut them off, the parent that has to do it alone, but the real victims in this situation,
Those most impacted are absolutely those babies, regardless of at that point age. But like the kids are absolutely impacted most. And whereas I think you see it more prevalent is emotional men who get real tender, you know, tender dick and getting their feelings. That's, you know, again, when I say more common is when you see the dudes like having a tough time kind of moving on, or again watching her move on, so they try to control, and that's where men I think go wrong at. We're trying to control, you know, the narrative of a person trying to move on. Like, you can't stop her happiness, you can't stop her.
So what, he thinks in his mind that if I don't see my kids, and that's gonna make her not fuck with no other niggas, just so I can still see, just so if I use that as my manipulative tool.
There you go,
right?
that word, yeah.
Then that's going to make her like, oh, I ain't gonna fuck with nobody because I want my kids to have their daddy in their life. Like, do you really think that works?
And none of that works. To me, where I think where humans go wrong at is you can't control anybody. Like, right? You control your controllables. It's you versus you at the end of the day. You cannot control what another person does. And if they want to move on, like, you move the fuck on too. You know what I mean? Like, and you hear the cliches, you know what I mean? And cliche is just that until you take it and you make it a reality. But, you know, you know, the best form of revenge is happy living, right? Or bossing up, or success. You know what I mean? Best form of revenge, right? You know what I mean? Like bettering yourself, right? So, you know, it's easier said than done when a person's emotions are like attached and they can't really move on. And then when they do, you know, again, have to get to that reality moment and know that it's over. Now I'm not fucking with the kids because fuck you and the kids. If I can't have you, the kids can't have me.
Yeah, but I think that speaks to a level of emotional unintelligence. You understand what I'm saying? Because if you that to the point where you can't separate the two relationships, then you don't have control or mastery of your own emotions. They just mesh like whoever the fuck. You know what I'm saying? So if this person, I'm hurt over the disillusion of our relationship, me and you, because these were separate relationships over here with the kids, I should still be able to maintain those to a certain degree. Now, if I have to communicate with her in order to do it because of their age, I mean, there's a lot of different factors that can play into that. If it's volatile, if it's a restraining order, like you can't communicate with her, therefore you can't see those children, and that's just a what do they call collateral damage, right?
Which once again has the kids at the
fucked up, and then you have kids growing up with issues of abandonment. But I think back to what I said earlier, the onus goes on the parents in terms of how they dissolved the relationship and how they communicated that to the kids in terms of transition. But it also goes back to the parents in terms of can you handle, do you have the ability to maintain separate relationships, or were you just in it and develop a relationship with those kids just to get connected to the mother, which means they're interconnected, they're not separate. That's why you can't separate them. That's why you can't continue that.
I think even in that situation, I think there's just different levels of accountability. And if those aren't my biological kids, and I come into a situation where we're dating, you know what I mean? And you got kids, you know what I mean? That's one thing. Now, where we're in a relationship, you know what I mean? And I don't, again, owe you or them kids shit when it's time for me to move on or when it's time for you to move on. Like I really don't. I don't have no obligation to you or the kids no more if those aren't my kids. So whether they hear from me or not, like that's I don't owe you no explanation or your kids.
I think if you took
Fuck
the
them
time,
kids.
no, but I think if you took the time to establish relationship with those kids, you do owe them a conversation as to why you're no longer going to be in relationship with them. Because if you don't, it just leaves them to their own devices as to understanding why.
Because the kids was a
this-
byproduct.
But they don't know that. They think you real and sincere. They think you really give a fuck about them. They don't understand the adult dynamics of relationships.
I get
They
it.
just understand this person that loves my mom loves me too.
That's fucked up. Your mama fucked up. Fuck y'all too.
No,
I'm
that's,
moving
that's
on.
not okay.
It's not okay, but again, I don't have no ties. Like the moment your mom chooses
You
to
don't
move
have
on,
any obligatory ties, but you have some moral ties.
oh, obligatory. Wait.
That means you're not
No,
obligated.
no. I like that.
You understand
I
what I'm
dig it.
saying?
I dig it.
But your
It's
character,
obligatory.
like for real.
No, I dig it. I dig it.
Because, like, what type of person are you? If you would take the time to establish a relationship with a child and ghost that child with no explanation, most adults can't handle being ghosted.
I agree.
What impact do you think that would have on a child? All of a sudden, this person is no longer there.
I'm
And
feeling
I think the onus goes on the parent who introduces people to their children.
right.
Stop introducing
go.
temporary ass motherfuckers
There you go.
to your kids.
Yep, that part.
You understand what I'm saying? Take some time and figure out whether or not this person is going to be around. This is someone you want to invest. This is someone you feel safe enough
Right.
that you want to introduce to your children, let alone allow them to establish a personal, independent relationship.
Yep.
Because if you allow that, I think you have to be mature enough in the end to allow that to continue for the sake of the mental health of your child.
Yeah, big facts. Yeah, I think, and that's why I think there's definitely different rules depending on both situations.
Yeah.
Because the moment, the situation ends, because again, back to your point, it could have been her that fucked it up. So now he, you know what I mean? Again, in his feelings. And
When
the-
I
the-
use those pronouns, I'm using them
no,
interchangeably. Like,
absolutely.
It could
Yep,
be the woman is the
yeah, because
asshole. You know what I'm
in
saying?
either case or either scenario, again, it's still that person who's in their feelings because of the breakup, and again, whether it's justified or not, you shitted on me, you fucked it up, it's your fault, like, and I'm moving on, and you got the kids, right? Whether, you know what I'm saying, it's his kids and she moves on, like, I don't owe you or them kids a damn thing. Now, and I'm not saying it's right, I'm just talking reality. Like, the bottom fucking line is, I don't owe you or them kids anything. I have the right to move the fuck on.
You do.
You know what I mean? Now, when those are my kids, there is no scenario you can paint whether he moves on and like now she got to deal with that shit. Like, no, you know what I mean? Like you fuck with them kids because them your kids. The kids didn't ask to be here. You fuck with them kids regardless of what the other person does. And here's the thing. Here is where I love to see the impact of effective co-parenting. You know what I mean? Like, I was just looking at my homeboy in them posts. Like, they married. We all went to high school together, but like they got a daughter. I don't know how old she is now, but like when she commented on the post, like I commented under her comment, I'm like, I love this, like, and see it benefit. So back to your point, when the kids are damaged because of the other parent not having the discipline, the morals, the compass to really still be, involved in that child's life, it's a definitely a negative to the child. But now look at this situation where my guy, you know what I mean, like his wife and his child's mom, like they have a great relationship, and they all are effectively co-parenting, but the kid benefits the most from it. You understand? Because like she got two great moms, you know what I'm saying, and the dad who she still, you know what I mean, like still has, you know what I mean. So there's definitely those great stories that you hear like that, you know what I mean. And then the other stories where like motherfuckers just really flake up, and it's such a negative reality for the kids who are absolutely impacted the most. It's like, please fuck with your kids by all means necessary. You know what I'm saying? Like, and remove the drama and the emotion from it and still rock out with the babies.
Okay, so we made a distinction between biological parents,
Mm-hmm.
and a distinction between people that come in and blended families.
Yeah, yeah.
Nothing in common.
Yeah.
What about the step parent role that comes in and assumes the parental role, biological or not? How then? What do you have to? What, I mean, is it still the disposition that fuck them kids?
Nope.
Okay.
I think at that point, like you owe them kids. Like the moment you're again, because now we're talking in the sanctity of like we done got married. I'm raising you. You're my child. Once I've taken that.
Okay.
There's no differentiator because I dealt with that, you know what I mean? And we didn't differentiate my brother that came in through the marriage. The moment that became a marriage, like my mama took your daddy last name. We family, you know what I mean? And there's nobody never knew like when we moved, you know what I'm saying, to the red zone, nobody never knew that wasn't our biological brother. They knew, you know what I'm saying? Like Ray, Randy, Steve, Rob, you know what I mean? Like it was 4, you know what I mean? Kim had 4 and raised 11, you know what I mean? But at that point, yeah, you held to that standard, my baby. You know what I mean? Like, so if the marriage ends and you move on, you still got a obligation to them kids. You know what I'm saying? Them your kids. Because even though most people put the term stepdad on it or that shit is out there. I never called my pop stepdad. Like, nigga, you married my mom. She took your last name. Like, you daddy now. You pops. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that all depends on, you know, the level of care that step parents instills into the child. I mean, that's because of how he treated you, basically.
Facts. Yeah.
The establishment of the relationship,
Right.
the cultivating of the
100%.
relationship.
So I think even in the context of how
nurturing
you,
the relationship.
yeah. So that's where the accountability coming in. There, yeah.
Okay, so let's look for my benefit in my world, right? And so, as a woman who deals with women, right? I'm 9 times out of 10 coming into a situation where they have children and I have a child, right? And so these are 2 women, right? And so these relationships established, I think the same principle applies. But what happens in this community is that when there's a breakup, everybody like fuck them kids. You know what I'm saying? The one that broke up, the one that got broke up with, don't call my kid. I think that is so damaging. And I don't give a fuck what the gender or the nature or the dynamics or the demographics of the relationships are. I think the people that are most damaged are the kids.
Now, do you base that on how much time has been invested?
I mean, I think time, yeah, absolutely time is a factor. Because first of all, you shouldn't be introducing people to your kids before a certain particular amount of time anyway. Until you understand who this person are, what they can bring, what value they can add to your child's life. Instead of just vicariously introducing people to your children, and children are attachable, right? They don't know boundaries. They know, mommy trusts this person, I trust this person.
Is that applicable in how you're approaching the situation now?
It's the same regardless of gender.
Right. No, I'm asking you, case specific. Is it applicable now dealing with how you're moving in your newfound amazing relationship?
And I will say I absolutely love their relationship.
Yeah.
The relationship that she's intentional about developing independently with him.
Yeah.
Regardless as to what's going on with us.
Yeah.
You understand what
I
I'm
do.
saying? And that matters.
Yeah.
So you have to find out, like, are you dealing with a person that can separate those 2 things? Or are you dealing with a person that's using one of those things to solidify the other?
What's the call-in number up?
Yes, sir.
Y'all see it on the screen. 313-723-0481. Call in. What's your opinion? What's your truth? Have you ever experienced it? Do you know anybody going through it? What's your thought process? You agree? You disagree? If I can't have you, the kids can't have me. I know it's not something we just threw in the atmosphere, throwing on the wall and see if it's going to stick.
This shit is every day. This shit is every day, and it's in all types of relationships. Kids ain't asked for none of this shit. They ain't asked you to bring that person around them. They ain't asked you to allow that relationship to establish. And so when you decide you done, you can't decide for the kid that relationship is
Whoa,
done.
what up, my baby? Carla talking about see you next week. I'm kidless. I can't relate. Ed, what up, my baby? Hodge, what up? Taj, Nick. Irma says, no one's perfect. Fake love just wants ass. No, absolutely. And so listen, and
That's why
agree.
you just don't allow anybody around you.
No, nobody's perfect, right?
Find
And
out their motives and intentions and
Yeah.
sincere objectives.
but so Mac is really coming from the blended family perspective, and
That's all I got.
that's right. That's her. No, and that's
Yeah.
that's the dope part about Excuse My Truth podcast, right, yo? Because I'm coming from the biological perspective where I easily had a choice and could have, you know what I'm saying, dipped off and chose not to, right? But my choice, I chose different.
But you know my circumstance, right? I'm
Yeah.
an adoptive parent,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I don't look at biology.
Mm-hmm.
I look at relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm talking about my situation, but I think it's applicable across the board because whether it's biology, whether it's genetics, whether it's social, whether it's step, whatever it is, it's still a relationship with this child that you allowed to build. And so you can't just be so reckless in dissolving that relationship without care for how it's going to impact that child, regardless as to what the two adults are going through.
Okay, so look at this comment right here. Miss Jackson says, Donovan is my son for life. Nothing will change that. That's the way it should be. Absolutely. That's the way it should be.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's the way it should
And
be.
she's intentional about that with him.
Yeah, that's absolutely the way it should be. And we ain't gonna even we gonna leave that in the atmosphere just as such, because we ain't gonna think no other way. That's absolutely the way it should be, and it's going to be because y'all gonna be together forever. So that's the only way we're gonna look at that. There are some people's realities who aren't as, you know, as legit as that. You know what I mean? And
That's
they
why
deal.
when you're dating, you should be dating especially if you have children. You should be dating not with the intent, because I always used to say I could find somebody just for me, any day, every day, all day. But can I find somebody that's good for both me and my child?
Mm-hmm.
That's not something that comes just plentiful. You understand what I'm saying? You have to really vet people before you allow those relationships to establish, because what you do is you create this revolving door syndrome to where you're introducing this person, you're introducing that person, you're introducing this person, and then they see this person and all of a sudden they're gone. They don't know why, because ain't nobody communicating with them. You see this person, they gone. They don't know why, because ain't nobody communicating with them. And then you wonder why they don't know how to sustain relationships.
Yeah, but most people don't do what's right in relationships morally when it's been a bad breakup. You know what I mean? Like, again, I say it like jokingly, like fuck them kids Friday each and every Friday. You know what I mean? At the Glass House Bar and Grill, like just he ha, because I'm a great fucking parent. You know what I mean? Like, who's still a great parent. You know what I mean? A great granddad. You know what I mean? So I say this shit jokingly, but a lot of people say this shit in action. You know what I mean? Fuck them kids, right? Which again, it ain't the kids' fault. The kids didn't actually be here, but the moral thing and the right thing in those situations is to like have a conversation with the kid. But like a lot of people, you know, will say, you know what I'm saying, you know, the kid gonna be like, boom, I'm being the kid life. But then when that breakup happened, you know what I mean, like now the emotions are like charged up and are leading, you know what I mean, their actions or whatever. And if they choose not to fuck with the kid, I don't blame them, because again, when you're talking about people have to really protect their mental and their energy.
Yeah.
If my energy and me protecting them mean like fuck you and them kids, like fuck you and them kids.
But then I think depending on the age of the child, there's a conversation that has to be had with that child.
Morally,
Because you
probably,
can't
but I gotta
trust
protect
that-
my energy though, D-Mac.
You still have to protect your energy, but you have to protect this little child that it doesn't understand your energy.
So what if I got to get the fuck on and then I double back when I'm in a better headspace, just because again, like again, it's a bad breakup. I gotta get the fuck on.
This is what we have to normalize in our community, right? We don't want kids to know shit until the shit happens, and then we understand why they don't have any skills to handle abrupt changes in life. We have to normalize being able to communicate with our children about the different phases and stages we're going through in our lives. Not in detail to the point that they can't comprehend or handle it, but to the extent that they're not blindsided by shit. And what we don't do is regard that these are little human beings with an intellect at their level And they have an ability to understand at their level what's happening. But we insult their level of intelligence, whether it's beneath ours or not, by not allowing them to have some information and just expect them to understand and process and comprehend what the fuck is going on in the adult world. We fucking our own kids up with lack of communication.
Yeah.
I can't say nothing about that.
I'm just saying, we can't just ghost the kids. Because then what do we leave them with? Their imagination. What did I do? What's wrong with me? Because nobody's telling me what the real problem is. So kids internalize shit. And they ask, what's wrong with me?
Yeah, the kids gonna definitely always be the ones that's impacted
what did
the
I
most.
do?
Mm-hmm. But
and we gotta think about that before we say fuck them kids.
well, my feelings
whether
hurt.
they're ours or not.
My feelings hurt.
Yeah, but you gotta get out of your feelings enough.
No, I don't gotta do shit. You just left me. You moved on. You got a whole new situation.
The child didn't.
Well, them were my kids.
That's a separate
I had to deal with the whole package, right? I had to accept the whole package, right?
But you developed a relationship with the
wait,
whole
wait,
package.
wait. These are going to be yes or no questions, all right? Just for my, you know what I'm saying? Just
okay,
and then
just
you can always just for right
you.
now, okay? When I go into a relationship and that person has kids, I got to accept that whole package, right?
Right.
Okay. So when I leave a situation, I got to leave the whole package, right?
No.
Wait, how does the rules change?
You told me I can explain later. I just answer your answer.
Hey, Crypto Quincy, if you in a situation, my dude, keep it a buck with me, my boy. You leave the situation. She got 2 kids. Y'all been rocking 2 years. And then one of the kids yours. The kid's 7 and 8. You know what I mean? So they was 4 and 5 when you know what I mean? So 2 years later, you got to move on. She got to move on because she fucked up, right? She done fucked up, bro. Right? So you got to move on. What's your obligation to the kids at that point, my guy? I need to know. I need somebody to call in. 313-723-0481.
Wasn't that long. We wasn't together but a year type shit, right? But,
You was engaged in a year. She put that snap wow pow on Big Dog.
It wasn't just her, nigga. Like she
What a
said,
drop
yeah,
at?
she said, yeah, nigga.
Put the drop on it. Come on, give me your that.
So yeah, it's like, you know, but then it's like, you know, I'm you know, we hanging, whatever, spending time to the point where her daughter, we out to eat. I forget what was at Fridays or some shit, Applebee's, whatever the fuck. She say, daddy, she said, talking to her mom, said, Mom, I like him better than my real daddy. Can I call him dad?
How old was the kid?
6.
Okay.
So
Damn.
then she throw the ball in my court. Like, ask him. I'm like, fuck. Like I'm already treating her the way that I'm treating her, to making her feel like.
Did the child have a dad in the life that they call dad already? However, she knew that was her dad. Yeah. Okay, so
right.
she was okay.
Did you hear what I said? She said
that
she asked her mama at the dinner. Mama, I like him better than my real dad. Can I call him dad?
So Doggy Bone had dropped the whole ball. Then, like, was he still involved in the kid's life?
Yeah, you just said he was to some degree.
To some degree, right? But he wasn't.
She knew who he was.
But he wasn't. He wasn't.
So is it safe to say that he switched up in some capacity how we dealt with the child after the breakup?
But if that's his real daughter, then that's the fault of his.
Yeah, 100%.
So for that, but now the question is, after me and her breakup, right? Am I obligated now to still insert myself or attempt to insert myself in this life of the child who calls me?
My question to you is, when she asked you to answer the question, when she asked you, can I call you dad? What did you say?
I said yeah, because I mean she wasn't.
That locks you in, my baby.
Yeah, my boy.
That locks you in. Don't. That locks you in. Because you allowed this person to look at you separately from your mom's boyfriend to now you're my dad.
But listen, let me finish. Now that it's over and done with, and it's not my fault that I don't have communication with her, because again, that was probably part of my gripe with dealing with women in the first place. It wasn't because of me having to be responsible for the kids. It's because I love kids, and if I love you, then I'm gonna get attached to the kids, and I break up with you, and it's like breaking up with 2 people, right? So now, because is she wrong now for not allowing me to still be in the child's
She
life?
is wrong for that because she allowed you to establish that father-child
All right, that's all I wanted
dynamic.
to know.
Wait, hold
all I
up.
wanted to know.
Pause.
That's all I wanted to know.
So you're saying that after the relationship is over with because
You
of
talking to me?
yes,
I'm sorry.
because you just agree. You're saying that the mom should allow him to still have a relationship with the child after the breakup because of the daddy role being established in the relationship.
Let me clarify. Because both of them allowed this child to develop this perspective that this man was in a father-dad role. That distinguished that relationship from his relationship with her. So I don't care what happens with his relationship with
And y'all
her.
was together for a year?
It does not matter to a
Bullshit.
child.
In my Clay Davis voice on the wire.
Mantra.
She.
We're talking about the mind of a child, not the experienced, seasoned mind of adults. We're talking about the mind of a child that does not have the ability to, or the cognitive ability.
So she don't. Oh, go ahead.
To process all the factors, right? We do. That's why you can say shit, and a child grows up with a fear of abandonment.
Wait, D-Mac, come on.
No,
How
it's
is he
real.
still? How does the mom?
I didn't
have,
say he was
no,
obligated
no.
or she was obligated.
I'm saying, but the mom, to me, the mom does not still have to allow him to be. You're not a biological father. We've only been together a year. Because in the
You
moment
keep
when
talking
we're
about this biological
hold on,
shit.
wait. I'm about to.
Father don't have shit to do with DNA.
Let me get my.
You
shit
are
off.
the daddy. It has to do with DNA. You are the
Let me get my
DNA.
shit
You
off.
are the man that produced the sperm that created this child.
So-
that's what DNA means. That's what
So, and
biology says.
100%.
Relationship is deeper than that, bro.
I
And
get
so
it.
I can. It's deeper than that, and you
I
have
get
to
it.
think from a child's perspective.
I get it.
So if you let me call this man dad, and he let me call this man dad, this is who I consider to be my dad, irrespective of biology and genetics. And so because I, as a child, look at you as my father, I look at you leaving as abandoning me as a dad.
Okay.
Because the adults allowed this relationship to facilitate or cultivate.
Okay, you got D, but that's not what he's talking about. He's talking about, in his case, it's opposite. In his case, it was him still wanting to have a relationship with the child, and the mom having to
Either
oblige.
parent that does
I want
not
to go. I want to deal
facilitate
just with
is
that.
the problem.
Whoever doesn't allow it,
I wanna
Whoever
deal-
doesn't allow it
I
is
wanna
the
deal-
problem. So I'm not saying
but
gender
there's no way that
specific.
the mom. There's no fucking way that the mom has to allow dog to still have a relationship with the child when the relationship is over with.
That's why I made a distinction between
Well, how about this?
obligation
How about
and
this?
morality.
This is the reason why women.
Obligatory and morality. That's why I made the distinction. She doesn't have to do shit, but most people will do what's within
But this
the
is the
best
reason why she
interest
don't
of the
allow a
child.
man in her child's life to that magnitude. Then, if she has
Agreed.
a problem with, something
Nobody
happening.
should, man or woman.
Yeah, but in that
That's
situation,
why I said be careful who you introduce your children to. Vet these people. Vet the potential of your relationship before you allow another sidebar relationship to manifest.
Yeah, but motherfuckers get finessed even when you vet it. Like motherfuckers can put on
They ain't
fake
vetted
guards
enough.
and put on fronts and make
But
you
they
think one thing.
ain't been vetted long enough then for the pretentious to be unmasked.
Motherfucking Bernie Madoff was vetted and finessed motherfuckers out of trillions. So again, people can definitely fall for the banana in the tailpipe, right? I'm not taking nothing away from that. I'm thinking and what was the outcome of that? Like did mom just like totally like what was how long did it take
you
you
ever
to
have any contact with the little girl anymore? Ever in
afterwards,
life?
no.
Never.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Yeah. Cause you get to put
She's
me
not obligated.
no.
But if you're thinking beyond yourself and your anger and your set of emotions and how you feel, and thinking about the impact that it has on your child, I think you will make a better, more informed decision about how this thing is impacting everybody and not just you.
Call in number 313-723-0481. If I can't have you, the kids can't have me. Fuck them kids. That's what they say. Y'all know how it is, man. When
But it don't really be that, because them motherfuckers be like, oh, I missed him, and they gonna forever be mad, but the mama a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Making all kind of excuses as to why you can't maintain or at least attempt to try to become civil with the parent in order to maintain that relationship.
Yeah, like the blended family aspect of it, again.
It ain't even got to be blended. It could be biological, genetic, like you said.
Yeah, the biological to me, again.
Do what's within the best interest of the child. Get out your feelings. Think about somebody other than you. Think about the person that's most impacted by this abrupt
I'd say
change.
none. I'd say you don't got no obligation once the situation over with. Mom don't want the situation.
You don't have an obligation, and I agree with that. Nobody.
You ain't got no obligatory. There's no obligatory to it, my baby. What are we talking about?
But do you have a heart?
Shit, I
do you
did until the
care about
mama's. I got an ice box where my heart used to be now.
For the mama, though.
Well, I had the whole package, not a whole package though. So you know
So
what
if
I mean?
you take the whole package, you got to leave the whole package.
Yeah, fuck
Okay.
yeah, D-Mac. Yes,
Yeah?
yeah,
Alright.
fuck yeah.
That's hard for me.
If again,
a
I had to
woman,
accept the whole package. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm leaving the whole motherfucking package. I ain't leaving no motherfucking residue. Like, no, fuck that. I got to cut it off at the head. Kill the
There's
head
some
and the
things,
body
though, that
dead.
need to be cut off, though. Some things need to be cut off. But my whole point is, if you need to cut it off with the child, I think you should respect the child enough to respect the fact that you developed an independent relationship with them. So your parting needs to be independent with them. You think just because you broke up with the mom, the child just supposed to just be like, bet. No, they're fucked up. They're hurt. It's a piece missing that you replace or that you fill the space of. And so if you allow yourself to develop that relationship, then allow yourself to end that relationship with some dignity, with some concern for the other party, not just the mother, but the child.
Yeah, I think in that regards, again, like, we just going back to the mental, man. And you gotta, in that situation, you gotta worry about you first. You know what I mean? Because if you feel like, what if you feel like going to the child and the reaction from the child gonna make it even that more emotionally hard on you?
Well,
though?
fuck you. That's
No,
a child.
you
You're an
gotta-
adult. You figure out how to
My
manage
mental
your
health-
emotions. That child has not figured out how to master.
Well, that's where the other parent got to come in.
Okay,
Go get
that's
that
where
child
your
some motherfucking
emotional
therapy.
intelligence comes in.
Man, I got to protect my
Or
mental.
emotional immaturity comes in.
I got to protect my
If
mental.
that child's reaction to you leaving their life after you committed to their life to some degree is so hard on you that you just can't bear to have the conversation, you a weak ass nigga to me. I ain't talking about you.
No,
I'm just
I
talking
get
about whoever that
No,
scenario
absolutely.
suits.
Yeah, for
because
sure.
you was a big ass nigga enough to build this bond. You want to break it?
Mom's just
Make
shitting
it
on me though.
easier
Mom's
for
just
the
smashed
kid.
my brother though. Like, I walked in and caught your mama. You know what I'm
That
saying?
baby don't have
The
shit
baby.
to do with
So
that.
now your uncle, your new daddy. Then.
That's some old hoe ass shit. Bro. I can't do. See, that's why I can't.
I'm saying, like, your
can't
uncle, your new
fucking
daddy,
not.
man. Because
Nah.
again, like, there's
That he didn't fuck over. He didn't fuck. He didn't do that. The kid or he or she didn't do that. The mama did.
yeah.
So be mad at her. But because you developed a separate, independent relationship with that child, you can't be mad at that child. You can't just be like, fuck the child. I don't owe you no explanation. Yes, the fuck you do. If you don't owe nobody an explanation, you owe that baby one. Because they're not going to understand your abrupt absence. They're just going to wonder why.
Now again, age matters, right? So like the kid 3, 4 years old, 5 years old, like the kid don't really.
Age does matter. I said that. I agree with you.
Okay, because so what age we
Because
talking
some
like
things
teenage?
you got to go through. I mean, we deal with their ability to understand what's happening.
That's why I want to meet
And
no
that's
kids.
really in adolescence, right?
Listen, as I'm in my macho Harvey mode, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't meeting no kids, you know what I mean? Because I don't want to get attached to no kids, because that will make it a little more challenging. Because again, for me, let's just go case specific to me. You got kids, and I start vibing with your kids, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's gonna be a problem, you know what I mean? Like, I would be just keeping shit a buck. I'd be that person that once I'm bonded with the child. Like, if I ain't fucking with you and you don't want to, you know what I mean? Like, I might still want to, you know what I'm saying, it's birthday party. Like, again, I know we ain't fucking with each other, but it's a little rivaling birthday party. Like, you want to pull up and bring your little grandma. You know what I'm saying? Like, that'd really be the energy for me, though. Like, I would still want to, you know what I'm saying, have some type of interaction with that kid. You know what I mean? That's why I'm not a fan of meeting kids or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like as I'm in my Macho Harvey mode.
That's why you gotta be careful.
Yeah,
Everybody that you meet ain't got to meet your motherfucking kids.
and see where my kid's older now, right? So my kid's older. And, you know, it's like problem child. You know what I mean? Like my kid's sizing them up. You know what I mean? Like my daughter is 20 and about to be 17. You know what I mean? So they looking at any female that come around like, okay, daddy, who is she? What she do? What she? How many kids she got? How many baby that? You know what I mean? Like I get different energy from my kids when it comes to that. You know what I mean? Just because again, age, right? But even in that context, like I don't play that. You know what I mean? Like we just about to be, you know, around my kids, or you know what I mean? Like you know, you might see my kids passing as you leaving out or coming in, but like I don't do that. Like you meet my kids, like you definitely, you know what I'm saying? Like I fuck with you. You know what I mean? Like for real, for real.
Anybody you introduce your kids to, I don't think you ever intend for that relationship to sever as a mother.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? I don't know the perspective of a father, but as a mother, it's like, I ain't really about to introduce you to him until I think you about to be around for real.
Right. Absolutely.
You
And
know
that's
what
how
I'm
it
saying?
should be though. Like I mean, listen.
That's why I got a whole door to my house. Like, you can get her in this door, out this door, undetected. My son will never see you.
Mm-hmm. Wait.
I call it the whole door, but it's the back door. But it's a whole different wing to my house. So he'll never, even, you know, before I was like in a relationship, in a relationship, you know, that was what I called the door, because it was like, you got to come in after he go to bed and you got to leave before he get up.
Renee, what up? How are you doing, my baby? She said I'm mad, I'm late. You know, you right on time, perfect timing, my baby. You ever experienced it? You know anybody ever experienced it? You know what I'm saying? Like the other party, the other parent don't want to rock with the kids as heavy. And listen, don't mean they have to like totally, but like a switch up. You know what I mean? Like you super dad, super mom when we together, and then now we ain't together. Now you just Clark Kent.
Yo, shit, Clark Kent was Superman, so
Again, are you right? You know what I mean? You Superman, and you know what I'm saying? When shit all good, but now it ain't all good, and now you just that regular motherfucker going to the news daily. You know what I'm saying? Like no, still be super dad, still be super mom. We need you to be Karen White every motherfucking day. You know what I'm saying? We need you to be Superwoman.
So I have a couple clients that went through a divorce, right? Male clients, right? Went through a divorce. And the child support and the whole fight over that, and just the whole rape of their paycheck, like, bittered the fuck out of them, right? And I'm not going to even suggest that it adjusted how they function.
Whoa, she said I'm going through that now. Oh, shit.
How they function with their kids, because it didn't. But it adjusted how much they were able to do for their kids.
Mm-hmm.
So the things that they would normally have done, they can't do, because, not to suggest that the child support isn't important and necessary, but because of the amount, it's like, okay, but I can't do what I normally do.
Wow, that's
because
real.
now half my check is gone.
Man, and so now I'm bitter, and I'm taking out on the kid now. Fuck the kid now.
No, I don't. Either one of them ever got to that point, because they're very dedicated fathers, and they're gonna do what they do.
Tanika, call in.
You know, some mamas make that shit hard for niggas though.
7230481. Tanika, I need you to call in. We need to hear your truth.
They make it hard for them to do what
5
they
minutes
normally.
left for the call-in line.
We got 5
normally
minutes
do.
left. Tanika, call in. Hey, Juan, that's what Mac just said. He said not all, but some women make it so hard.
Yeah.
To see the child after a breakup. Yeah, absolutely.
Because you know you're the custodial parent.
Mm-hmm.
And
Tanika, you say you dealing with this. I need you to call in, man. 313-723-0481. I need 2 minutes of your time, my baby. Like, help us understand in what capacity, like, how old are the kids? Like what happened? You know what I'm saying? What you do? How you fuck it up? You know what I mean? Because you know the city boys, us city boys ain't fucking up. You know what I mean? Like we, you know what I mean? Especially not the dark skins.
What's going on, caller? Who this and where you calling from?
Yeah, this is Tanika. I'm calling from Detroit.
Tanika, what's up?
What up, Tanika?
What's going on? What's going on, my show?
Hey, so Tanika, you say you're going through this right now? You want to share your truth?
Yeah. Sure. So, my child's father and I separated when my child was like 1.5 years. He don't have no dealings with my son. My son is 9. He feels that if my son don't reach out to him, it's not his responsibility to reach out to his son. My son said, "You're the daddy. Why I gotta call you?"
Yeah. So, yeah. And your son is right. He ain't asked to be here. You brought him here. You spit him
So this
out.
like seven years of switching up. And was it a situation where like if I can't have you, he can't have me? Were you
For a
the,
minute, for a minute it was like, well, you ain't fucking with me, I ain't fucking with the kid. Okay, well, he's still good. And then he was like, well, I'm gonna get my kid. He'll get him for about a week or two, then disappear again.
and the kid suffers?
And the kid
Yeah,
suffers because there's no consistency. It's a game. It's like he thinks he's trying to
yeah,
hurt you, but he's really hurting his son.
absolutely.
And
Has your,
that's the thing. Like, you got to be able to separate those two. Because if you can't separate those two, I'm telling you, the person that's going to be hurt the worst is that child.
and I just coach 9 and 10 year olds, so being around 9 and 10 year olds, it just amazed me like their level of maturity of life. You know what I mean? Like literally, I was around some of the baddest 10 year olds on planet Earth. But that being said, like your son is absolutely at an age where he's forming his own opinion, and would you say it's impacting him like negatively and
Sometimes it impacts him negatively. He'll call after like he haven't talked to him in like 6 or 7 months. He'll call and say, "Hey, I'm gonna come get you." Have him waiting on him all day and never shows up. And then he'll be acting out of school and not doing his work. And I'll be like, "What's the problem? Why you acting up in school?" Well, my dad said he was gonna come get me yesterday and he never showed up. Now he's not answering my calls.
And this is why I said there has to be a conversation, depending on the age of the child, with the child about what's going on. You can't just expect that child to understand the movements or the conflicts between the two adults. But even still, if you make those promises, nigga, follow up, follow through. Because you didn't make those
Absolutely.
promises to the mom, you made those promises to your child. And
Right, because he doesn't communicate.
yeah, so he wrong as fuck, in my opinion, based on the information you gave.
well, Tanika, we appreciate you calling and sharing your truth, my baby. And keep up the good work being super mom, being super woman, and keep making that shit look easy, man. Them kids is definitely lucky to have you as their mom,
And
man.
he gonna see that shit for himself, and hopefully it ain't too late for my man when he decide he wanna do right.
Yeah, hopefully he wake up and he want to get active with his
Absolutely.
kids.
Hope so
Especially
too.
boys need their daddy.
That is
Kids need
100%
both
true.
parents.
Wow. All right, Tanika. Well, you enjoy your night. Appreciate you calling in, my baby. Excuse my truth
All
podcast
right,
with
no
Mac and
problem.
myself.
Go. What's your final thought, Macho?
My final thought is quite simple, and I'm gonna, I guess, speak real quick on both aspects of it because, again, I really do feel like if we're not married or you know what I mean, like I haven't taken on the
Because
role
women are
as
too selfish for that, Dewan.
stepdad.
What do I say?
He said
Since
since women
women
lead
leave
a
the
relationship,
relationship 70% of the time, why not let the kids go with their father? Ooh, that's a whole nother topic.
yeah, they're too selfish for that.
Nigga, you come in at the nth hour with that question. We gonna holler back.
Shout out to my guy Juan. I rock with you, my boy. Never play with the kids. They always need both parents. No, absolutely, Renee.
Yeah, I
100%.
believe that. I think
And that's why, again, the kids absolutely suffer the most. But so again, I have two different views because I think when you are the biological parent, either side of the coin, male or female, whichever parent that is, I don't think there is a scenario on planet Earth that you can paint where you're not fucking with your kids, with the exception that me and Mac were talking about. I'm talking like a willing situation where like the relationship is over with and now you don't want to fuck with the kid. I'm not talking about the laws involved
Yeah,
and
I got you.
paperwork and
I
all
got
that shit, but like you choose to deal with your kids differently because you can't deal with the other parent anymore. You know what I mean? Like you are a fucking scumbag. You know what I mean? Either side, whether you're a female or a male, you should not deal with your children any different because you can't still have a relationship with the other parent. You know what I mean? Now, again, I think when you're, you don't have that stepdad title or there's no marriage, I think, again, in a relationship, again, because me personally, my mental matters. Like, and morally, you know what I mean. Like, again, I'm scrapping all of that when it comes to my mental health, because I got to make sure I'm good. And by doing so, if I got to leave you and the child alone abruptly because you like brought some traumatic shit to the relationship, then I fuck them kids. You know what I mean? Like, in that context, right? But you know, that's my final thought.
Well, my final thought is I'm going to talk to the parents. Stop introducing temporary motherfuckers to your kids.
Wow, facts.
Because kids don't understand that they're temporary. They get attached. And when you're done, they may not be done. And they're thereby impacted negatively. And then we wonder why our kids grow up and can't sustain relationships. We wonder why our kids grow up with fear of abandonment. Because we've allowed connections and we've allowed the abandonment without explanation. Because we don't talk to the kids. We just conflict with each other. 1. 2. Parents have to be very careful about, and I'm not talking about parents biologically, because I'm not a biological parent, because you can tell me I didn't carry my child for 9 months and give birth to him. Right. So that relationship is still what it is, irrespective of biology and genetics.
Yeah. You're super different.
You understand what I'm saying? But I'm not an isolated
No,
phenomenon.
absolutely.
Out here.
No,
this shit
facts.
is so common. And so we can't isolate it to biological.
I wish we could. I
parents.
wish, and I'm sick that I didn't even think to even inquire about like his do you feel like the biological parents would even still have like a responsibility? Like we didn't even tap on any. You know what I mean?
I don't. They don't have any responsibility. They forsook their responsibility, not took it. So you don't have any more obligation to it.
So they couldn't pop back up at no point in life to even entertain trying to have a relationship.
Well, I allowed both of them to pop up at one point or another.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But it wasn't healthy and it wasn't sustained. And so at this point, now you're going to wait for him to reach out to you when he's ready.
And
But I just feel like in these relationships where children are involved, if you're going to allow a person to be or develop a relationship with your child, you have to understand that that relationship is independent of your relationship with that person. And so whoever is the person, whether it's the step or the partner that's coming into the situation or the person that has the child existing in the situation, both of those people need to understand that when we dissolve and we get an understanding about us dissolving, that child is clueless. And what most children tend to do is blame themselves. What did I do wrong? Why don't they love me anymore? Where did they go? Why I don't see them anymore? Why I haven't heard from them anymore? We don't think about that because we're so caught up in our own emotions. So we got to start being unselfish as adults with children that bring children into situations and understand that really the bigger victim, the most impacted, because they don't have an understanding, is the child. And that's my final thought.
we'll see y'all next Wednesday. Excuse My Truth podcast with Mac and Macho, my baby. We out.
Warning. You are now tuned in to 7 Mile Radio. 7 Mile